Welcome to Crops, Cattle, and Charley. I'm Charley Martinez, and I'm joined today by Andrew Griffith and the University of Tennessee crop economist Aaron Smith with the Department of Agriculture and Resource Economics. Dr. Smith is going to be discussing and demonstrating the CFAP calculator for corn, soybean, and cotton producers. You would, Aaron?
Thank you, Charlie. I'm going to share my screen so people can see the calculator. Then I'm just going to quickly step through kind of a quick example. So can you guys see that? All right, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of step through how we've set up this Excel spreadsheet to end up helping producers estimate what their CFAP payments will be. Just a quick reminder that when we look at the different categories along the bottom, we have non-specialty crops, wool, livestock, dairy, and specialty crops. This is going to be specific to non-specialty crops, where we're looking at corn, cotton, and soybeans for Tennessee producers. So the first tab kind of sets your payment limits. So it depends on what your payment limits are. If you're a corporate entity, you can get up to $750,000, but for most people, the limit is going to be filed per legal entity, and the cap per legal entity is $250,000. It is also important to point out that the payments will come in two different components. The initial payment will be 80%, and then the remaining payment will be 20%. So it does end up calculating a total payment, and then how that payment is going to be distributed by USDA. So then when we move to the specialty crop section, this is where you can specify your inventory. And so what I kind of did is I did an example of maybe a farm that would be about 2,000 acres, where you're looking at about 500 acres of corn, 1,000 acres of soybeans, and 500 acres of cotton. So what I looked at is, you know, when we're looking at eligible inventory for grain or for lint for cotton, what we're looking at is the eligible inventory that's held on hand as of January 15th, 2020. And so again, one thing that is important about that inventory is it must be unpriced or have price risk associated with it. So if you've locked in a price for that production, it is not eligible for inventory. So if you look at corn, for example, you can enter in bushels on hand. So in my example, I've got 43,750 bushels of corn, and it'll calculate what your total estimated payment is for that inventory. Again, it's unpriced, and it does have to be less than what your total 2019 production was. Similar as corn, you can punch in your cotton number. So assuming 100,000 pounds of cotton remaining unpriced as of January 15th, you'll end up getting a payment of $9,500. And again, this is that total payment, so it doesn't factor in that only 80% will be initially paid. But when we go back to the total value, we can end up estimating that. Punch in a soybean number of 25,000 bushels, and it'll automatically calculate what that estimated total payment is. So we have our three crops. Total payment to be received under the CFAP Direct Payments to Producer program of $36,031.25. And if we go back to the total value, what it'll end up doing is we'll have that total calculated amount, and then what your initial payment is and what your remaining payment is going to end up being. So again, it gives you what your payment maximum is, what your total payment is, and then what your initial and remaining payment will end up being. And that's basically all we have for corn, cotton, and soybeans. But you can go in, you can add in how much inventory you have for your farm, get an estimate. I do encourage people to make sure that when they are booking their appointments, call your FSA office. Make sure that you schedule a time, get the appropriate paperwork needed to complete the application. Particularly if you're new to FSA, there's going to be some more paperwork that's required. These offices are going to be very busy, so be cognizant of their time. There is a USDA calculator that is available that you can end up putting in your numbers after you've calculated them, and it will end up printing the forms for you, so it is a useful feature.
Awesome. Well, thanks. Thank you to the viewer for watching this edition of Crops, Cattle, and Charley. We hope you enjoy it, and we hope you find it useful, and we hope you'll join us again on the next one. Thank you.